All right, well, my name is Fitzpatrick, and I have lived in Hawaii much of my life, but as I said earlier, I lived in upstate New York, Saratoga Springs, and Lake George from 2000, and much of that time worked in a private school, a Waldorf school, as an administrator, but really enjoyed being with the kids and teaching. And when a time came for a career shift, I had done some work with summer camps, actually had my own summer camp at a house I had on a river. And I just loved the whole field of activities and relationships and the way that children just responded to outdoor activity and how that heightened also the artistic and writing activities that we did. And so when the time came to do something new, I was very drawn to outdoor education and Camp Cook in particular. And as soon as I started working there, it was something I never really wanted to leave camp. And so I kept going back year after year. When George first suggested it, I was kind of out of the blue, and I hadn't ever considered it before. And so then, as I thought about it, I thought, wow, it could be a really great opportunity. And one of my goals, or at least desires, had been to work someplace where I could, have a lot of impact and also, to have something that would come year after year so that I could just see my work grow and then have a community of people that you can, get to know and see, especially, campers grow up to be counselors and I love that area. So it's really quite an amazing confluence of events and circumstances. I did spend 1 year in California working at YMCA Camp Campbell as a coordinator there, volunteer coordinator essentially. That was very rewarding, kind of more on the administrative side, and gave me a look at the broader workings of camp. And just recently worked at YMCA Camp Erdman in Hawaii as a assistant, and again, that was a very nice way of seeing the inner workings of another camp. Yeah, my son Dylan is almost 20 and a sophomore at SUNY Albany, pre-med. He's studying to be a physical therapist, which they just created as a pre-med. And my daughter Chelsea is a senior at Warren Wilson College, and hopefully we'll be going to school in Boston next fall, and so that'll be nice as well. Yeah, I love being on the water, kayaking, any kind of, and out here, surfing and swimming. I love hiking, running, climbing, high ropes, almost pretty much anything. I've done adventure trips at Camp Cook, and I just almost I was never I really want to go back. I don't want to go back in. And it occurred to me with Wawa, I was like, well, it's going to be like an adventure trip. I'll just be out there, and I'm a little more comfortable, but that's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward really to getting to work. It sounds maybe funny, but the job I had here just didn't quite have this. It didn't really use my skills, and it was a little hard to plug in. So I was helping every day, but I didn't have one thing that I could kind of call my own. So I'm very excited to come and find out all about Wawa, and find out where things are at and what kind of goals we're looking at, and then to bring some of my ideas that I might have and what other people are doing, and then just getting into action and going out and talking it up and networking and doing the things we need to do to make it a great summer. I know there's a lot of challenges. I don't know what they are yet, but of course there's always a lot. But I think where I'm at right now, I just have a lot of energy, really jazzed about outdoor activities and kids coming together and having a great time, and just so taking all that and getting to work and making it happen and having a lot of fun doing it. I think from my interview and from what George has said that, you know, just working with a group of people that are dedicated toward a goal as a community, just to me, it's really exciting. It's just about like the best thing I can think of. Yeah, I noticed that on the blogs about the you know, work days, and was very impressed actually how close they were together and how many people were at them. And I was like, oh, that was, you know, it's not like one a year. It's, you know, much more often than that. And I thought you guys might like this. I don't think I said it in my interview, but at the camps I've been at, I've always loved the maintenance guys, not the most, but they're the ones that really actually keep things working, because without the buildings and everything going. And recently when, you know, the job at Camp Erdman didn't work out, I thought maybe I should go into maintenance. Because I, you know, I would enjoy it, and they have some workers down at camp, and I go, they look like they're having the best time of all. They're driving the ATV and building things and, you know, moving things around and making it look good. And so I have a sort of a soft spot in my heart for doing maintenance and for people who do it. I think it's interesting just because I've had such a varied life, and there really wasn't a lot of traditions in my life that, but working at the Waldorf School is very strong on tradition. I kind of feel like a tradition is a way of a structure, or almost a mechanism that holds things and makes them really genuine and deep. And there, you know, there can be some little innovation, but I think, I don't know, tradition just kind of rings through the years if it's a good tradition, and usually traditions last because they're good. That's why I keep doing them. But so I would be happy to facilitate that kind of activity, and, you know, and a little honored that I could step into it as well. Well, I want to come out and see Segowea, and I was wondering if that's a, you know, as far as, well, obviously if Norm is there. And then meet all the board and take a look at, you know, what was used last year as far as marketing and outreach, and then what we would want to do, you know, to start spreading the word about the summer and pumping it up, and also seeing what, you know, what's the program schedule that's been there in the past and what we want to do, and then, you know, what kind of things do we need to do to get ready for that, you know, supplies or otherwise. And then also, you know, staff, you know, what staff is coming back, and how do we, what do we need to do to go about hiring new staff, and, you know, getting the word out that way. Yeah, so I just see, you know, getting a picture of, you know, getting to the camp, seeing it, getting a feeling for it, and then getting a feeling for what the board wants the summer to look like, and, you know, putting the pieces together. You know, I'd like to kind of create a plan, a written plan with all the different components, from, you know, finances to grounds to program to staff, and yeah, starting to get ready, you know, create a timeline, what we want to see done when, and then break it down to small steps and go with it. Nobody was really more surprised than I was when I got out here, and instead of having that feeling of coming home that you get sometimes, which in fact I would get when I got to Chinchacook over the years, after being away on the off season, it just never quite clicked in, and you can't argue with your heart, really. While there's so much I love out here, it just became apparent over, you know, a period of time that wasn't quite the right match now, and I'll always love it and always come back to have family here. But you know, the East Coast and the mountains and the trees and the forests and the lakes and the rivers, and the work there really calling to me. So so that's the answer to that. Was just really, you know, in my heart, I couldn't sort of argue with that, and I'm very, very happy to be returning. I've been in the Berkshires a few times, just traveling through, and it seems very similar to the Adirondacks. But you know, that'll be something I'll be you know, exploring. But just the feeling of the mountains. As soon as you actually leave, like New Jersey, and you get up into that upper area of the Northeast, I've just always enjoyed traveling around there and just felt quite at home, and which is always surprising to people since I grew up in Hawaii. But when I moved over there, I just actually, that was in 2000. I kind of took to it right away. I think it's a place where they can step out of their usual, whatever role they've been at home and at school and maybe on their soccer team. Everybody, steps into these different roles in life, and for good reason, and that's the way we function. When kids go to summer camp, it's a chance for them to maybe take on a whole new role. Maybe they were the quiet, shy one, but when they get to camp, some activity, brings them out and they become the one who's more talkative or takes on a leadership role. And then there's a chance for these relationships to happen that don't always happen in other places. The counselor and the camper, the campers together, and hopefully with myself I can connect with people, and sort of the setting of being outdoors, being very active, campfires at night, just the laughter and the activity and the genuine exchange. I believe it's a time that can make a huge difference for all year round. But it's I guess what some people might term a peak experience. But it's a chance for kids and counselors too to step into a whole new role in a whole new place, and the camp setting really facilitates that. That's what I think is kind of quintessential about the experience.